this really is a VIP studded audience, so I don't think I'll be able to name all of the honorable guests here, especially the members of the UCCP. It's really my first time. We say UCCP every Sunday when we come to Cosmopolitan Church, but this is the first time that I see the entire UCCP representation under one roof. So anyway, I listened to the message of Bishop Marisa, which I think energized all of us, and we thank him for that wonderful message of on righteousness and justice. And I'm really speaking here as a simple member of the congregation of Cosmopolitan Church. You know, we worship in this church since 1941. That was before many of you were even born. And Mary Boyd Stagg, for whom this sanctuary, by the way, is named, was our pastor during that time. And Joby Salonga was a young lawyer reviewing for the bar who was protected from the Japanese by Mary Boyd Stagg, who was his really guardian angel during those days. But during those days, Joby already had an aura of brilliance about him. And so I was 12 years old, getting ready for my first communion in this church. By the way, our pastor now, Pastor Tabanda, we had to learn all the books of the New Testament in order to qualify to get our first communion. I don't know whether that's a requirement of those who aspire now to have their first communion, but although I did not like it because those first Old Testament names were so hard to pronounce, like Habakkuk. But anyway, I'm glad I did, because when I went to Wellesley College, my professor in Bible 101 was so impressed that I knew all of the books of the Old Testament. Thank goodness to good old Cosmopolitan Church. Anyway, during those days, it was Mary Boyd Stagg and Joby Salonga who were maybe the highlights of our church life. But June, I'm sorry, Melquiades Gamboa, who was already our number 3 in the Washington Embassy, and what was his name, our Consul General to Chicago, Mr. Ruiz, also of Siliman, Professor Alcala. Mr. Ruiz was our Consul General in Chicago. Leopoldo, Pulding Ruiz. They were all parts of that early foreign service with my father. This is really just for Jun Yasai's historical memory, in the sense that Cosmopolitan has a history of very early diplomats when we just gained our independence. And my father, by the way, was the author of the Foreign Service Act, which created the Philippine Foreign Service. By the way, I'm breaking a little protocol because I'm supposed to succeed my brother as a speaker. I mean, and I'm not really supposed to speak after the President of the Philippines speaks. But anyway, I tease him sometimes because I say, you know, I'm always introduced as the sister of President Ramos, which I accept in all humility. Who am I? Who am I to be so arrogant to say, you know? But I told him one day, you will be known as the brother of Senator Shahani. But he takes that in good grace anyway, so no sibling rivalry among the Ramoses. Anyway, we also were here during martial law years. And this church was a rock and a fortress, as the Old Testament, as the Psalm And Matthew, the book of Matthew would say, this was a rock, a fortress, a stronghold, a horn of the Lord. And maybe it was Mary Boyd Stark who helped us, because she was beheaded in the end. Hawthorne Darby, who founded Mary Child's Hospital, Miss Wilkes, these are all doctor missionaries, and Mary Boyd Stark, they were all beheaded in Fort Santiago. That is the history of Cosmopolitan. It's a brave church. It really was a fortress of the Lord, a rock. This was built on a rock. This was built on rock and blood. And this is what I remember as a child, you see. So, and then of course during martial law, we had Jovi Salonga, we had Pastor Vigos, we had Pastor Suarez, you see. They're all gone now, but this is really in tribute of the UCCP spirit. They gave their lives in serving the Lord and His people. And so I'm really proud to be a member of Cosmopolitan Church. So I'm telling Atty. Raterta that I don't come here very often anymore. I'm quite absent, and I'm a little tempted because I live now in Makati to be a member of the Union Church. And he told me, no, don't do that, please. But you see, with the traffic in Manila, and I'm sure Secretary Abeli is listening to me, but let us give a hand to all of our honorees, by the way. I was telling Secretary Abelia that I watch him on TV every day, and I think I like his smiling face because it means that the President's media policy still is an open and relaxed one. So I also told Secretary Yasay, I sympathize with you because the Department of Foreign Affairs is one of the most difficult departments to administer, but I'm also cheering him along. So I think that is the best message you can give to all of our honorees tonight. We wish them the very best because they are in such important responsibilities, but as we have done tonight, we bless them and we wish them the very best, as we know that they're not only serving the government, but also they're in the service of the Lord. So thank you very much again. It's a great honor to be here. Welcome to Cosmopolitan Church, which has a brilliant and a brave history of all kinds of parishioners. You don't have to be a senator, really, to serve the Lord, or you don't have to be a VIP or a member of the President's Cabinet. There are so many poor, common people, ordinary people who come. We serve the neighborhood. We serve PGH, all the schools here. I remember when Union Theological Seminary, we had to go to school to Philippine Women's University from our house here on Padre Fauram. We had to bow to the Japanese sentry, but we knew it was the Union Theological Seminary, so we were also bowing before the Lord. So that was okay for me. So thank you very much for coming and joining us. We honor all of our honorees tonight, and may God bless all of us, including this wonderful church, the Cosmopolitan Church of UCCP. Thank you.